Tonight, I'm going to show you all how to mine a rich vein of .com gold. Internet pedophiles. You see, these pederasts scour chat rooms looking for potential victims, then lure them into unsafe situations by corrupting a kiddie's sense of judgment with hardcore pornography and expensive gifts. Gold. So, to start, the first thing you have to do is set up your own homepage. I've called mine Penne's Playhouse. I've made sure it features poor spelling, picture of me as a 12-year-old netball player, and a banal online diary about the minutiae of school, the relative merits of every posing boy band, and how I'm so mature and want some older friends. Then, to meet your victim, just go into any chat room on the net and imitate a precocious 12-year-old. Nikki Webster's a pretty good guide. And if some sicko out there has doubts about your credentials, just refer them to your website. In no time at all, you'll have a bunch of unsuitable suitors emailing you every day. Toy with them for a bit. You don't want to seem easy or too fickle. Then when they make the move, you strike. This looks promising. Subject, true love. I think about you all the time. Can I meet you? I will only meet you if you really love me. My parents don't love me. They won't buy me a PlayStation 2. How will I know if you love me? He'll catch on pretty quickly. Just make sure you get them to send your gifts care of a friend's house, because you don't want your parents to discover your secret love. And in no time, you'll have another PlayStation to add to the collection. More often than not, they arrive with one of these hardcore porn DVDs. And that's all there is to it. Now it's time to sell your gifts. I use either eBay or the Trading Post online. Last week, I sold an Xbox, a Nintendo, and 2 PlayStations for a profit of just over $1,000. And I have a substantial porn library, which is the envy of all my friends. Unfortunately, I also have a collection of pictures of fat, naked men in Groucho Marx disguises. Who knows? They could come in handy if I'm ever doing business with the federal court. See ya.
Just as everyone knows in their heart of hearts that smoking is cool, everybody knows that seatbelts are for wusses. There's nothing that takes the zing out of hurtling down the highway more than the strap-down dag machine. The coolest person in history was James Dean. And while he remains an enigmatic figure, there's one thing we know about him for sure. He didn't wear a seatbelt. However, the nanny state, as run by the man, is determined to stop you from being cool. You can cop a hefty fine for not wearing a seatbelt. And on long weekends and public holidays, if a pig spots you, you can even lose your licence, which is majorly uncool. So, here's a simple way to scam the man and retain your cool. It's a seatbelt t-shirt. With a can of black paint and a wide brush, you can make your own seatbelt t-shirt in about 5 seconds. Now you can be fine-free, no matter how many cops are staring at you as you zoom past them, free and easy. Plus, you know how really cool you are. This one's for you, Jimmy.
Oh, did you see that Bruce Springsteen retrospective?
Oh, yeah, he's still the boss.
Yeah, have you been watching the repeats of 30-something on TV1?
Oh, I know, it's been great. God, can you believe we used to dress that way?
Middle-aged people are so boring. I usually try and avoid them. But of course my parents are middle-aged, so I can't avoid spending time with them. Especially not when I need to borrow money. So, if you have to spend time with the oldies, it's worth taking a couple of preventative measures so you're not bored out of your brain. The reason middle-aged people are so boring is because nothing ever happens to them. And that's something you can fix. And that's only the beginning.
Last night.
Amazing.
So you just came home and found it like this?
Yes, they didn't even steal anything. They just broke in and vandalised the place.
Really? Well, do they know who did it?
Yes. The police have arrested a couple of Mediterranean boys.
You're kidding!
No, they're in court next week.
You're kidding. Can I come along?
Well, of course you can. I've never seen you take such an interest in what goes on round here.
That's the truth.
The problem problem Australia is facing at the moment is that a lot of our international brothers and sisters are taking a leaky cruise ship to rock up on our lucky doorstep. So since a lot of these boat folk are from Afghanistan and all they want to do is settle down and lead a peaceful life, how about some of you lucky Aussie farmers show a bit of heart and arrange for an Afghani family to leave their own bombed out backyard and settle into yours? It'll be well worth it, because while you help your new Afghani brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins and grandparents find a new home, you'll be able to use their expertise in semi-arid farming to your advantage. Before America and their mates moved in, Afghanistan's major export crop was poppies, which when refined supply 70% of the world's heroin. So remember, think globally, act locally. The next time your field is fallow, don't follow the crowd. Diversify your crops by planting poppies. Then simply encourage your new neighbours to do what they do best. It all balances out pretty well. The Afghanis are experts in cultivating semi-arid soil and they want to live here. And because European farming methods have stuffed the land, most Australians want to live in the cities. So, here's an opportunity to get off the sheep's back by boosting your economy with cheap smack. See ya.
Had a filth party last night. The only problem is my next door neighbour Jerry keeps giving me grief. But I like to party and I'm sick of the man's minions coming round and shutting things down. So, today I'm going to show you how to make sure your next door neighbour never calls the cops again. All you have to do is grab yourself half a dummy and screw it onto a skateboard. Put a t-shirt on it and whack on a cap. Now you have yourself an innocent kiddie just playing on his skateboard. The next time your neighbour goes to work, just roll the dummy out in front of the car. When the dummy's hit, intercept your neighbour before he gets out of the car. Don't worry, mate, I'm the only one who saw. Just drive. I'll take care of it. For God's sake, just drive. Now, your neighbour will probably contact you within a couple of hours. Just tell him the child is dead and you've buried the body. No one will ever know, it's just our little secret. He shouldn't complain about the noise anymore, and there's no way he'll call the cops. And you can count on him to help you out with anything you need in the future. Right neighbourly of him. See ya.
You going, gorgeous? Can I buy you a drink?
No. When you're having a cup of quiet drinks with a couple of quiet mates, there's nothing worse than the leering attentions of a guy who just doesn't cut it. So what do when he doesn't understand that no means piss off? All you need to deflect the dickheads is one of these. That's right, it's a door snake. Now, all you have to do is simply cut your snake in half, like so, and empty out some of the sawdust inside. Then when you have your desired length, put it aside to sew later on. Now, with the end of the other half, empty out most of the sawdust and tie a knot here. And another knot here. Then simply snip off the excess material and you're left with 2 balls filled with sawdust. Now, sew the other half up, then sew these 2 pieces together. Then slide the whole package down your pants and your door snake is now a trouser snake. So, the next time some goose staggers up to you to tell you you're beautiful, just invite him to cop a feel. And enjoy the confusion registering in his cloudy eyes when he feels tongue where there should be groove. And you'll be left alone for the rest of the night. Just remember to whip out your trouser snake if you see someone you like the look of, or you may find your relationship getting off to a weird start. See ya. Sometimes when I go into work, I just don't feel like doing any work. Fortunately, I found a great trick to get away with doing nothing all day. All you have to do is go commando. As soon as you ditch the bra, the guys in the office will be riveted to every movement of your chest. Especially if you bounce a bit as you move about the office. Oh, hi Klaus. Can I do anything for you? Don't worry, the other working women will go elsewhere before getting involved in such a cheap point-scoring stunt. And finally, when your boss finds out what's going on, he's not going to ask you to put your bra back on, because then he'd have to acknowledge that he noticed you took it off. And if he did that, you could sue him for sexual harassment. And that's all there is to it. When you give your bra the day off, you can take the day off yourself. Because when you go commando, no one will notice if you don't do a stroke of work all day. See ya.
If you're a mum who wants to get back into the workforce without the guilt of leaving your infant in an impersonal creche environment, the answer, as always, is on the street. It's called busking. Now, the public are sick to the back teeth with mimes, didgeridoo players and poncy little brats playing violins and flutes. But you have a natural gift, breastfeeding. As any Hollywood mogul will tell you, tits never hurt a show. Because this is fairly cutting-edge stuff, it might take a while for the public to cotton on to what's going on. You may need to make it clear that you're working in the busking genre. So, I've chosen a statue of the Madonna and Child. Just be careful to keep the silver paint away from the actual nipple area, as it is highly toxic. And sick as we are as a society, we're not yet prepared to pay good money to see a dead baby. And the good bit is, the child will be exposed to the ethics of the marketplace a good 14 years before he'll be working at Macca's. How character forming can that be? See ya.
No, I don't think it's acceptable. I don't think it's very hygienic too, and it's not very nice for someone sitting at another table who's not a family, who doesn't have a family, doesn't have commitments to actually be looking at something like that.
If a baby's crying, then it needs to be fed, and it's only being breastfed that it needs to be fed, so I'm all for it.
I think it's disgraceful, actually. I think that there is a very close bond between a mother and a child, and that should be kept between the two of them. You know, if you know you're going out for a day and that you're going to have to feed your child, make a bottle.
It's like me flopping up, against the wall and go, oh, I've got to go to the toilet. I mean, come on, man. We're humans. We're not animals, I don't know. A breast is a breast. A penis is a penis. Same thing goes,
You know, babysitting is a totally dope way to make some dollars. And anyone can do it. But like some of my friends reckon they couldn't handle it. What do you do with a 5-year-old? How do you keep them occupied? Well, it's all in the preparation. You see, kids just dig doing craft. So, here's a tip to help you get through those long hours of babysitting. Firstly, you'll need heaps of these, and secondly, you'll need a ton of this. Kids are so into the stupid, repetitive nature of craft, and egg cartons are perfect because they're big and easy to use. Good on you, Hi. And when they get tired, and let me tell you, they always do, then you're ready for phase 2. Hi! Hi! Oh, guess that's the end of craft then. And there's still 3 hours of babysitting left to go. But don't worry, you won't have to put up with this for long. As anyone in the recording industry will tell you, egg cartons make choice sound insulators. Little Hi can scream to his heart's content, and the neighbours and I won't hear a thing. Now the time will just fly. Oh, and it's a good idea to have an egg carton dinosaur ready to show his parents when they come to pick him up, just so they can see how well you've kept their little treasure occupied. Plus, they'll get why he's so scared of egg cartons. See ya, Hi! Sure, now my bedroom walls are covered with egg cartons, but think of it this way. The next time I have a guy in there, I'll be able to give him the feedback he needs to continue to please without worrying about generating a soundscape for the neighbours. See ya. I've been getting stacks of emails lately from kids who are fed up with all the homework teachers keep dumping on them. I mean, what's the point of getting an education when it cuts into your TV watching time? But of course, comparatively, you're lucky. I mean, there are starving kids in the third world who would love to be in your position, but instead they have to work in sweatshops or scavenge through rubbish dumps for food. So it seems to me the solution is obvious. You should help these underprivileged children by outsourcing your homework. That's right. Get yourself a World Vision sponsor child and FedEx them your assignments. Be sure to include a return self-addressed envelope. And by sending them just a few assignments a day, you're allowing a starving child to live vicariously through your education. Of course, you might want to put some thought into the type of child you're sending your homework to. If you're outsourcing maths and physics, get World Vision to find you an Asian kid with glasses. If you want a child who can write a controversial general studies essay on America's sponsorship of state terrorism, find a Nicaraguan, Kurdish or Palestinian kid. It'll read uncannily like Chomsky. At the end of the day, if you have a crisis of conscience about exploiting the child, we'll just get them to invoice you. Because at 12 cents an hour, it's cheap at twice the price. See ya.